Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jumpin here, and today this is going to be continuing the All My Builds series, which the first thing I wanted to talk about in this video is that in the last video, I think there was a lot of confusion. In that video I said that this is going to be my final Mass Effect 3 series, meaning exactly that. This is the last series that I'm going to be coming out with for Mass Effect 3. It doesn't necessarily mean this is the last of Mass Effect videos, which is how everyone kind of took it. But the truth of the matter is that, yes, I will be playing Borderlands 2, and I will be playing other games, but I will occasionally play Mass Effect, and if I want to make videos for Mass Effect, I will continue to make some videos for Mass Effect, and hopefully a DLC will come out, and then I can do more Mass Effect. So I just want to clear that up, because it's like, if I even suggest to the idea that I might not be making Mass Effect videos anymore, a lot of people start to freak out and like, well, I guess I'm unsubbing. Which is cool. If you guys don't want to be subbed anymore, that's fine to me. But I do really care about my subscribers. I care about all of you guys out there, because I've made all the videos that I've made for that reason. I like to help people. I like to make people better. And I feel that if I can do that through videos and showing you guys some cool stuff, then I want to do that. So that's my main point. So I do care about my subscribers. It's just that if you guys don't want to be subscribed anymore, then I don't care. Because if you do unsubscribe, you're not my subscriber anymore. So I just want to make that a point. So, yeah, guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this. This is going to be all the soldiers today. Every single soldier in the game. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, starting off is going to be the Human Soldier, which is one of my favorite soldiers in the game. There's a lot of the soldiers that I really do like, honestly. I do like a lot of the soldiers, but one thing about soldiers is that soldiers, for the most part, most of these builds are going to consist of shotguns, because to be honest, the best guns to use for soldiers are shotguns, unfortunately, but it is the truth. Alright, so for the gun I recommend for the Human Soldier, I'm going to recommend the Claymore. Reason why is because the Human Claymore build is amazing. Now, a lot of people build it differently, and I build it different as well. But for the Claymore, you're definitely going to always want primarily extended barrel and smart choke for more accuracy. Now, because of that, you're going to need armor piercing ammo. But if you guys don't have armor piercing ammo, you could actually just throw the piercing on, and that would be okay too. But if you want to make it the best out of the best, you do want the smart choke, just because the accuracy is so much better with smart choke. Now, moving on to the build, for Adrenaline Rush, I actually recommend hardening. I know a lot of people will always say damage is better, but the beautiful part about it is that there are two human soldiers. So you have the female and the male. So if you want to change this build up a little bit, you can make it this way, which I like this better. I like defense. I always feel like the best offense is a good defense. That whole thing. If I can stay alive longer, the more shots I'm going to be able to put into the enemies, the more I'm going to be able to help my team if I'm alive longer. So I think that anything to do with defense is better than just being pure offense and getting dropped a lot. So that's the reason why I choose hardening over the damage. But with the other Human Soldier, you can actually go for the damage. So just keep that in mind. You get two builds, so change it up a little bit. Alright, moving on, melee damage. Well, you don't want to just melee with this guy, obviously. Meleeing is not really smart, especially with a Human Soldier. But that is there because you don't want the duration to be that long. You really don't. With duration, it goes up to about 7 seconds. And you want to use this with the build. The idea of the build is that you're going to want to instantly reload the Claymore so that you can pretty much make it into like a buckshot. So it's boom, boom, then reload cancel, boom. So that's the idea. So that's why the melee damage is there. Moving on is definitely the one you want. Shield boost, this is amazing. 100% more shields back. That is literally about half your shield that you will get back because it goes off the base. So since the base shield is 500, you get 100% of that. So you will get 500 shields back with this. Don't go for concussive shot. There's really no point because frag grenades are way better. For frag grenades, I recommend damage, just for more damage. bleed damage. Now, the reason why bleed damage is better than max grenades, although max grenades do get you 2 more grenades, the reason why bleed damage is better is because with grenade capacity 5, or with the shotgun grenade capacity, you're going to have plenty of nades. 4 grenades are actually, that's fine. And 7 grenades, well, that's a little bit of an overkill. And 9 grenades, that's retarded. So the bleed damage to me is better because this actually will do some DPS to organic enemies. And it's over 10 seconds. So if you throw a frag into a room, you can throw 1 frag to take all the shields off, and then the second frag to almost kill all the enemies, and then you can actually just run away and then start fighting like bigger enemies while the bleed damage will kill them. So just keep that in mind. And then the final one I recommend is shield overload. I know a lot of people also will say armor damage is better, which armor damage is pretty good for bosses, but shield overload to me is just better for every other enemy. I use the frag grenades to take down the shields of all the enemies in a room. That's my idea with it. I throw a frag grenade, I take down all the shields, I throw another one, I almost kill every enemy, and then I shoot the rest. So, and I've told you before with the Claymore, is that if you shoot a guy on any difficulty with no shield, you'll pretty much one-shot him. With the shield, maybe not, but with no shield, yes. So that's the point. This will guarantee you to pretty much take down the shields of like every enemy that you throw it at, and it is amazing. Alright, moving on for alliance training. Damage and capacity. A lot of people are going to say, well, of course weapons damage is good. Yeah, weapons damage is good, but I like the damage and capacity because, like I said, Adrenaline Rush is all about being able to spam it. You want to be able to use it as much as possible so that you can get the whole double buckshot effect. So the boom boom instead of the boom. I know, guys, that's funny, but whatever. But you get the idea. But damage and capacity is better for that aspect, so that's why I recommend it. Power damage, obviously, for the grenades to be stronger. And then finally, weapons damage. So he balances himself out. 35% power damage, 20% weapons damage. That's pretty freaking good, honestly. So I like it. I don't really care. I don't really need 27% weapons damage. I just don't feel the point. Alright, now for the fitness. All shields, pretty much consistent. I think every one of these soldiers are going to be built for fitness like this. So, you know, that's just the thing. Alright. Moving on to the Krogan Soldier, which I have not made many videos about this guy. And the one that I have linked in the description, because of course I forgot to bring this up in the beginning, but if you look at the description, you will find gameplays to every one of these soldiers. So if you want to see some of the gameplays and see how some of these builds work, slash just see the gameplays, because a lot of them are older gameplays that you might have never seen before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. You can look in the description and find the links, or you can look at the annotations if you're on your PC. So that is the thing. Alright, now for this Krogan Soldier though, I do kind of like him and I don't really like him. He's one of my least favorite soldiers, probably my least favorite to be honest. But he is actually a lot of fun to play, just because the soldier class in general is really good. But if I was to choose any other soldier, I would choose, well, like 2 or 3 of the other ones over him. So that's just how I feel about the Krogan. But for the weapons, I actually recommend this guy. The whole idea is that he doesn't use any powers. And because he doesn't use any powers, you don't need to worry about power recharge. So you can strap on some pretty heavy guns. So you can use the N7 Typhoon, for example, or the Cerberus Harrier if you want. That's fine as well. But the Typhoon, why not? Just for, you know, a billion bullets, slash. I know a lot of you guys love the Typhoon. So, yeah. Go ahead and strap this on and start wrecking enemies. And I recommend extended barrel with extended magazines for this. And, of course, I recommend armor-piercing ammo for this. It does have piercing on the gun, but it's really, really whack compared to what you get from armor-piercing. So I do recommend that. And then for the shotgun, I recommend the Geth Plasma Shotgun. And this is the gun I would recommend using primarily. Like, just because the great thing about the Geth Plasma Shotgun is all you need is extended barrel for more damage. You don't need accuracy. You don't need ammo. You don't really need, piercing, the Shredder mod doesn't work. So you don't need any of that. So why not put the melee attachment on? And since he's a Krogan, his melees are pretty good. So that's the whole idea with the Geth Plasma Shotgun. Alright, now for the actual powers. For fortification, I recommend durability. I don't really recommend a melee with this guy. Although he is a Krogan, the melee the way I recommend to use it is if you got a guy really low health or a phantom with no shield or a Geth Pyro or something that is almost dead, just go ahead and melee it to kill it off quicker. But when it comes down to just running around like an idiot on gold or platinum trying to melee everything, I can't really recommend that. I just can't do it because it just isn't that smart, honestly. You can have some success with it, but you'll probably get dropped more. A tank version of the Krogan is really the way to play him, because that way you'll stay alive long, you'll be able to just like never die, / just kill everything really quickly with all your powerful guns and grenades and everything. So I definitely recommend durability, and I actually recommend power synergy. Now, recharge speed is good too because this is more tanky, but power synergy, that's 30% more damage. That's good because he does use grenades. So because you're going to be using grenades, why not go for the power damage and make the grenades stronger for killing bosses quick? So that's the whole idea. And then finally, durability, just because you don't need power recharge, there is no power. So there you go, 40% damage protection. Skip carnage, and then for inferno nades, go for damage, and then armor damage. This is just set up to just do a massive amount of damage to boss level enemies. That's really just the idea. DPS wise, you just chuck 2 of these at like a brute and it's dead in like 2 seconds. So that is the idea behind the Inferno nades. Now for the Krogan Berserker, weapons damage, you don't need damage and capacity. Powers damage, just to boost the grenades up more. Weapons damage, just because you're using 2 guns. For the Rage, all shields, because like I said, I only like to melee weak enemies, so that is the idea. All these are better because you will have a massive amount of shields and a massive amount of health, which will just keep you alive like forever. Alright, moving on to the Terrarium. Now for the Terrarium, you can put like any gun on this guy. This guy is designed for any gun in the game is better on him, or like 90% of every other guns are better on the Terrarium, as you may know, because a lot of my fun with gun videos consist of me using the Terrarium. But hands down, the best gun in the game for him is the Piranha. The Piranha is the best gun for him. I haven't came out with a video with this build, but I love this build. This build is amazing. The N7 Piranha on the Terrarium Soldier is amazing. So the weapon mods I recommend is accuracy and damage. But because of that, you're going to need armor-piercing ammo, so keep that in mind. You could actually use the Shredder mod if you want. It's okay, but just the accuracy in general is amazing. Now for the build. You've seen this build multiple times. Fire rate 15%. Duration and accuracy and fire rate, pretty much the idea. Proxy mine is just for debuffing, so if you see a boss, use it, / a big group of enemies and you're really far away, go ahead and use this. This is okay. So I recommend radius, damage taken for the debuff, and recharge speed, just because, like I said, look at the recharge, 2.8 seconds, that's not so bad. So that is the idea. Now for the Terrarium Veteran, I recommend damage and stability. I have headshot damage on because, like I said, this is a debuffing. I don't care about the power damage. I don't care about the proxy mine killing enemies. It doesn't need to be killing enemies. My gun will kill the enemies. So headshots is better. And then finally, damage and stability just for overall more damage, and your gun will not kick at all. For shields, just pretty much all health and shields, all durability stuff like all the other soldiers. Now moving on to the Batarian Soldier. The Batarian, now, he's a little tricky. I have built him a lot of different ways, but most recently, I just don't use him that much. He's becoming more and more one of my least favorite soldiers. When he first came out, he was definitely the best one. He was so broken. Ballistic Blades were so amazing. Then they kind of nerfed him a little bit, and because of that, he just has never really been that good ever since then. So this build is basically just the build after the fact. Alright, so, but the gun I do recommend for him is actually the Rigger Carbine. To me, I find that this gun is the best. Ballistic Blades is an extremely close range power. This is an extremely close range gun. So this guy is meant to be played extremely close range. And the Rigger Carbine, as you guys may know, is one of the best guns in the game. So for the mods, I recommend damage and piercing. And now for the build, for the Ballistic Blades, this is a little interesting, but I definitely recommend damage over cone spread, because when he used to be really overpoweredly broken, the cone spread just, well, it just did like an insane amount of like degrees, pretty much almost 360 degrees. That's like your entire body. Now it is more or less just in front of you, and with cone spread now, it just doesn't really like do what it used to do. So I just prefer the damage. Range, definitely range, because you do want the range to have longer distance with your Ballistic Blade. And then I have damage and bleed on, but exploding blades are really good as well. But what you gotta remember, guys, is that to me, there's no point to go for exploding blades when my gun kills everything really, really quickly. I mean, when I've used the Rigger Carbine on this guy, what I noticed was, wait a minute, when I run up and I Ballistic Blade an enemy, I'll start to shoot it, so the blade will stun, I will shoot the Rigger Carbine, and then they die. And then the blades will blow up on the ground. So, to me, I personally think that just go for the damage and bleed if you're going to use the Rigger Carbine. If you're going to use a different gun like the Talon, or maybe the Service Harrier, yes, go ahead and use exploding blades. They are better. But when you have a gun like the Piranha or the Rigger Carbine that can kill so quick, there's just really no point. So I recommend damage and bleed for that instance. Now, for blade armor, I used to use Infernal Nades on this guy, but then I stopped just because I felt like I just wanted more damage protection and all that kind of good stuff. So for blade armor, I recommend durability, recharge speed, and durability. I skipped the Infernal Nades. For the Batarian Enforcer, I recommend weapons damage, power damage, and then weapons damage. And for the fitness, all shields. Alright, so moving on now to the Vorcha. Now the Vorcha, if you remember right, in my last video I did with him, I had the Vorcha Claymore, which is pretty good. But personally, what I like, I think the best way to build him is with the Rigger Carbine and Flamer combo. But because there's two Vorchas, you can set this guy up to be a little bit different, and you can set up the Sentinel to actually just go ahead and use that combo, the Rigger Carbine Flamer combo. So I like the Sentinel to do that, where I like this guy to actually be able to use something else, which I think personally the best gun for him is the Geth Plasma Shotgun. Just because this gun stuns, this gun is super overpoweredly good. You can put the melee blade on it, which, like, you know, the Vorcha's melee is really good. And overall, I just think it's a very good gun. And of course, you want to use extended barrel. Now for the build, this is pretty much the same build as the Vorcha Claymore, if you remember that. Just health regeneration, weapons damage, health regeneration, skip flamer, Carnage for stunning enemies, so damage, recharge speed, then damage. And then for the Vorcha, I use weapons damage, power damage, and weapons damage. And for the fitness, durability, martial artist, and fitness expert. Alrighty. So now finally is going to be the N7 Destroyer, which is a lot of people's favorite soldier. Personally, me, not so much. My favorite one will probably always be the Terrarium, just because, and maybe the Human Claymore. But this guy is really good. So the guns I recommend, as you may know, which is what everybody always says, the N7 Typhoon is amazing on him. So yeah, use the N7 Typhoon with extended barrel and extended magazine. And then of course, the Piranha Shotgun with the accuracy and the extended barrel. Now, what you're going to want to do with this guy is, of course, you're going to need the armor-piercing ammo. Just because. You just really need it. So keep that in mind. Now for the build, there is a couple things I want to say. Like on this build, I have shield recharge delay. I don't really like this though. I would definitely say that go for the weapons accuracy. Go for the weapons accuracy, guys. Go for the weapons accuracy. I'm going to repeat it 3 times because when I do commentaries for some reason, people just don't listen. So I just want to make that clear. Weapons accuracy is better. When I made this was a long time ago, and I have changed my opinion on it. Back then, I thought that maybe weapons accuracy was glitched, but that was just a rumor, and now I know that weapons accuracy is not glitched. So this is way better, just for that Piranha Shotgun. So definitely go for that. Rate of fire, which is godly, and then I still like the max shields. I don't really, like I told you before, I'm more about defense than offense. Like I said, the best offense to me is a good defense. That's just what I always feel. Alright, now for the multi-frag grenades. Force and damage, grenade count. So, and these are the best things that he gets. I mean, it's so godly. Now for the battle suit. Weapons damage, power damage, weapons damage. And then finally, for his fitness, just all shield stuff. So, anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. This was all my soldier builds, and I love the soldiers. I think they're all really good, even the ones, and definitely try out the Krogan if you haven't, since I have not really done many videos with him. I've only ever done one. Like I said, if you want to find any gameplay with any of these characters, just go ahead and look at the description or look at the annotations, and you will find it, and definitely check it out. So please like this video, and remember guys, this is my final Mass Effect 3 series. Not saying that this is my final Mass Effect 3 videos. There is a difference there. So just keep that in mind. But like I said, please like the video and have a nice day.